you?
Very well, very well. Apart from, and I know that an awful lot of people I know are feeling this way, this sort of black cloud that sits on me every day with well, we're living a normal life right now, but for how long? And even if people get to enjoy Christmas, what will happen in the new year? I'm hoping to go away on holiday. Will I be able to? Will there be a new rule that stops me flying, or a new rule that stops me coming back into the country? Or will we be able to go to work? And for me, the idea that the Prime Minister is going to make a decision in apparently 12 days' time about whether or not people can see their families at Christmas, I still find quite bizarre. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, completely, Julia. I mean, it's carrot and stick all over again. I mean, it's a form of sort of coercion. It's a sort of tactics that you would sort of indulge on sort of toddlers, not the whole population. But it's also the whole hypocrisy around the whole thing. Throughout this crisis, our government have been telling us to know our place, to do our bit, and largely the public have adhered to this. Yet the government are not adopting those measures quite often themselves, whether it's the scandal about Matt Hancock, whether it's the Christmas party that was in Downing Street last year, whether it's them strutting around G7, G20 or COP, quite often not wearing masks, certainly not social distancing, and yet they're telling us to know our place at Christmas. Christmas is a really important time of year for people to come together. And right now, the evidence would suggest that our hospitalizations are actually declining. Not that many parts of our media are talking about this.
Nope.
Instead of reassurance, they're giving more scaremongering. And yet we're now going into the Christmas run with the threat of another restricted Christmas and the impact, not just in terms of people's social and mental welfare, but also the hospitality industry again, who are trying to plan for Christmas and they don't know about what numbers they can have. They're putting orders in, which are literally blind orders because the government are dangling this threat that they might not have an open Christmas.
Yeah. And again, we also know the effect it's having on people in terms of whether they can make plans or they can't. I know so many people who've cancelled holiday plans, desperate often plans to visit family members they have not seen for 2 years even, but they just don't know if they're going to be able to get back into the country, whether they're going to have to face a quarantine hotel costing thousands of pounds, missing weeks and weeks of work, which, if you're not on staff, you're not going to be able to afford to do. And this is the thing. There are so many people feeling that way, and even me. I'm someone who's I'm not genuinely. I'm not remotely worried about Omicron. I'm as safe as I'm going to be. I've had my jabs. I've had COVID. I'm as safe as I'm going to be. And that's the end of the matter. And I want to live my life and I will take whatever risks are necessary. Other people can do what they choose, but they shouldn't be telling me what I can or can't do. But I'm now worried, will I be able to pass that test to be able to get out of the country? Will I be self-isolating when I need to get on a flight because someone else has COVID and I'm identified as a contact? I'm not scared of COVID. I'm scared of COVID policy.
I completely agree with that. I mean, we've done our bit through all kinds of stages throughout this crisis, and as I said, the hypocrisy of the government is there. But there comes a point where how do we actually get out of this? Where is our exit strategy? And I think for a lot of people, especially the other side of the jabs, enough is enough, especially at Christmas time. I mean, I'm the same, Julia. I mean, what I'm going to do at Christmas time is basically carry on. I will meet up with friends and family. I will hug and kiss my loved ones. I will break bread over the Christmas dinner with loved ones. And I saw something the other day that the government was saying, actually, it might make sense if people check up on their, effectively show your papers to meet up with loved ones at Christmas time. I mean, we're at a situation whereby the numbers are showing, in terms of the numbers that matter, hospitalizations and deaths, we're in a very, very different position to last year. And for the government to dangle a threat over us, sorry, I'm not having it this year, Julia.
I don't think anyone is. I don't think anyone is willing to be told this, and especially when they know that last year, when there were all those restrictions, that people in number 10, I mean, Boris Johnson and Carrot, I'm sorry, they broke COVID rules. I mean, their bubble, having her best friend Imka Ali in, they broke rules with Downing Street parties. They broke rules with everything. They've not been wearing the mask they told everyone else to wear. We know. I mean, come on, they've not obeyed a lot of the quarantining rules, the self-isolation rules, because they've got little special rules for them. They are instigating rules because the media demand them, the sage demand them. They're not obeying them themselves because they know they don't make any difference. And again, the whole point of the lockdown last year, well, in 2020 was we flatten the curve. Well, we did that. We never had overwhelmed hospitals, actually. We should have been out again. And then the point of the one in the new year, earlier this year, we were told was because we were going to roll out the vaccine. We've got the vaccines, we've got the boosters. Again, my fear is, if we lock down this year, this winter, and I've been saying this all year, if we lock down this winter, then the logic is we will lock down every winter forever. And that's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of my greatest fears about this, Julia. I completely agree. I was hoping this year that we get messages of reassurance. I mean, people need reassurance. So many people are confused and scared by this. Christmas heightens that feeling.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a time of great joy. The actual data, which is, it's not even a case of it following, government orders or science. It's about following data right now. We've got trends. And at the moment, the indications are that we can get through Christmas. Yeah. And I think most people will adhere to that in terms of they want a Christmas that is on their own terms rather than the government actually posing a threat. And I am concerned, like you, if we don't get through Christmas this year, on the other side of the jab, we're stuck in some sort of Mobius loop here. And the only way we can get out of this is by discreetly taking control of our own lives and having Christmas on our own terms, especially if the government are performing like sort of vaudevillian circus act when they're ignoring the rules themselves.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. That hypocrisy. I mean, it's still hitting front pages for a reason. James Melville, always so good to talk to you. Thank you very much, Dee, for joining us.